Okay, this movie is Chapter 7, Problem Solve 1. That's the Golf Pro Shop database. And we're going to be working on the query fourth quarter customers. So I'm starting here at step 4. Create a query based on customers and transactions. So we're going to do customer transaction that will display first name, last name, street address, city, state, zip, and phone. So let's just start with that. We're going to create a query in Design View. We're going to add customers and transactions. And I'm going to open up my list of fields, and I'm going to bring my grid up so it's closer. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting in the fields. So first name, last name, street address, city, state, zip, and phone. So let me just verify. First name, last name, street address, city, state, zip, phone. So I'm good. So now we need to look at this for any resort member who has made a purchase at the Pro Shop during the fourth quarter of 2018. Okay, so first of all, I need to step back and think about how would I know that a customer is a member. So I'm going to open up this customer table and just look at the data, right? Because I got to figure out how I'm going to meet that request. So if I scroll through here, I notice that there is a status column that lists whether the record, the person in that record is a member or a guest. So I think I can use status and limit it where it's equal to member. So I think that's what we want to do. And then who has made a purchase at the Pro Shop during the fourth quarter of 2018. So for that one, we want to think about, so purchases are not in this customer table, right? So if I go back to my query, I need to look at this. Oh, here's transaction date. And I think made a purchase. So if I go and look at transactions, and there's the date that a purchase was made. And I want to limit it to the fourth quarter of 2018. So that would be October 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2018. And so I can use this field. So when I come back to my grid, I need to add those two fields that I'm going to qualify the records on. Because if I run it right now, I get, at some point it's going to tell me 34. Okay. Oh no, how many total? Let's go to the end. Oh, 112. Okay. But it's everybody, guest, member, dates don't matter. So I need to put those two fields down there. So I'm going to put status and transaction date. Now, the instructions don't specifically tell you that. You have to read it and figure out how you're going to meet that, that requirement. So if we look at status, and we're going to come over here, all we care about is that it says member, right? So I'm going to put member in there, and I'm going to run my query, and then look, member, 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 member. So any of the ones that were guest are not there anymore. So now I'm down to 79. So then I want to put the transaction date between, you know what, I'm going to zoom this so you guys can see it. So I'm going to zoom. Between is often used for the date ranges, guys. it makes it so much easier. You just do between the start date and the ending date. Okay. So let's run it and see what we get. Okay, so now we're down to 16. So that's good. But if you look at this last line here, it says be sure that each customer is only listed once. And that is not the case here, right? So I need to go back, and when I want to group, then I need to add that aggregate line on there, the total row. So I'm going to click that on, and if you run it again, you're still going to get 16 because it's still grouping by that transaction date, right? So we are not only getting it by the person, but by their unique transaction date. So this is where you have to start thinking about, okay, I need that transaction date in there, but I can't group by it because then it shows each unique date that that person bought something. So what I really want is to use that transaction date calculation to use it as my criteria. So that's where I'm going to change this group by to the where clause. Because remember, when you need to have a field on the grid in order to get the correct answers, but it's not one of the calculated fields, it's not the sum, average, and it's not a group by, you change it to where. Now watch what happens when I run that. Look, I'm down to 4. Each member is in there one time. I don't see the date anymore because you don't care about the date. You want to see that these people bought something, not when they bought it. So one of the things here is member. So we want to come back and notice this is already unchecked. I'm going to uncheck the status, and then let's go back and look at be sure that each customer is only listed once. It is. We don't have that extra fields in there. Sort in ascending order by last name. So I'm going to come here, ascending. I'm going to run it again. So it's in order by last name. And I do believe that is correct. So let's save that. It's going to be called oops, sorry about that. Let's got to change this to ascending. We're going to save it, qry4thQuarterCustomers. Okay, close that out. So now I have up through step 5 done. And I'm going to stop this movie, and then the next one will pick up at the next query. Thank you.